Good morning.
It's been 45 seconds since the last episode. I went and saved, and when you come back in, you're at the main entrance
Oh, yeah.
to the Great Glacier. So basically the way the Great Glacier works is that it's huge and gigantic, and it's stupid. There's probably like 12, 13 areas that you can go to within the Great Glacier. And a lot of them have neat stuff in them to check out. A lot of items, materia, dumb junk like that. However, it is very cold in the Great Glacier, and after you take a certain number of steps, Cloud will pass out. So, there's going to be a lot of running around, a lot of snow, a lot of stupid stuff.
A lot of more bender snatches. Yep.
Yep.
At least they die in like one shot.
Yeah, we're getting to that point where Cloud is super overpowered. Anyway, so the first item we get, I believe, is in here. It's up here and right there. It's just a little sack that's got a mine source in it. Eventually we'll do stuff with these sources, but I want to wait until a little bit later to use them. Next up is this lake, which has a little potion right there that you can see.
Oh.
And an encounter! Alright, these things.
Is it a mermaid?
Yes, it's a mermaid.
I mean, she was right next to the water.
I think that's just a coincidence. By the way, you'll never guess what these enemies are called.
I already had my guess was mermaid. Siren?
Nope.
Vacationer? Canadian?
This enemy name is also the name of a character from Final Fantasy XIII.
I don't remember.
It's Snow. The enemy's called Snow.
Oh my god.
We just make excessive use of limit breaks when we have them now. There's really no reason not to. Everyone's got their shit maxed out. Barrett doesn't have his final limit break yet, but we'll get that sooner or later. Anyway, so if we head up here, it brings us into a little puzzle thing. We have to jump from ice block to ice block, but every time we jump to a new ice block, they change size. So you have to jump in a particular pattern to do it. It's not really difficult. You can basically just kind of figure out which way to go just by looking at which ice block is the biggest.
I mean, that's not how ice works, but okay.
You don't know. This is a fantasy world of magic and snow. And here's a cave. And inside this cave, we have a safety bit. A safety bit is an interesting item. It's an accessory that will protect you from any kind of instant death. Which doesn't help us now because Aerith is already dead. But if we had it before, it still wouldn't have helped. Because anyone that dies in a cutscene is dead forever. Everybody knows that.
Oh boy, this again.
It's way less complicated than it seems. Basically, whenever you jump to one of these things, it changes the size of the one surrounding it, and it just kind of cycles through its sizes. So, it's not tough to figure out. But anyway, on to the next section. Or onto this battle with more Bandersnatch.
Bandersnatch behind you. No.
I promise you, there's more than just Bandersnatch and snow in this place. Wait till we find the ice golems.
Are they actually called ice golems and not something retarded like...
Yeah, they're called ice golem. They're not golems. While we're on the subject of enemies, by the way, if you ever go to the Final Fantasy wiki and you look up some of these enemies, a lot of the enemies, especially for like the earlier Final Fantasies, will have the AI scripts that they use for the enemy encounters. So it's stuff like, you know, if it's a lot of if-then statements. Of basically, you know, if, you know, the enemy's health is 50% or lower, it'll use this ability, and if it's not, then it'll use this ability, and, you know, if it doesn't, like, if none of the prerequisites for any of the other stuff is done, then it'll do this thing. It's really neat. Just looking at it.
God, just looking at this place, like right now, if I was in a place that cold, it would just hurt breathing.
Yeah, it probably does hurt a lot. Like,
especially if you're sick.
I really hate cold, just in general, and like, eh. Anyway, so here we go. Here's an ice golem. It's probably going to use cold snap on us. Yeah. And then, according to this AI script, it should use Golem Punch next, unless it's below 50% health, in which case it will use Wide Grazer. There's the punch. And now it has a 50% chance of using... Oh, well, it's dead, so it doesn't matter.
It has a 50% chance of dying.
On its third turn, it has a 50% chance of either using Golem Punch or Cold Snap, if it's not below 50% health. That's the way Ice Golems work. Ice Golems are one of the easier AI scripts to look at. They're like the boss scripts are crazy, and some of like the other enemies are crazy. Oh, look at that money we have.
Oh, yeah.
133,000. Ignore the fact that I just ran past that materia. Completely missed it that time. I'll come back for it later. Mainly because I was dead set on coming here to this hot spring. We have to touch it.
Yeah. Touch the hot spring. Get in.
Hot spring. Oh, there we go. Finally passed out. So when you pass out, you wake up here in this shack. Remember that old lady who said her husband went climbing 20 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Here he is.
Does he tell you why he's hiding out here, away from his wife?
Yeah, he does. The short condensed version is that him and his friend went to climb the cliff. His friend died, and so he's basically staying here to warn people that don't take that shit lightly. So we get to rest. And then, so at this point, the game wants you to go and climb the mountain, but we still have shit to find.
Exactly.
Yeah, so touch. There we go. So yeah, basically what happens here is after you take around 540 or so steps, Cloud passes out, and then you come back here. There's no, like, negative to it at all. Interestingly, it's different in the PAL versions. It's the same number of steps, but it takes longer to take that number of steps in the PAL version just because the way, I guess, their shit works. Because they had a weirder refresh rate on their televisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there is a way to get like unlimited steps and never have to worry about passing out, but it takes a very, very, very long time. Basically, what happens is when you're running around in that area with the hut,
Right.
it counts up the steps that you need, but doesn't make you pass out. So what you do is you run around for probably close to 2 hours, and eventually it'll overflow the counter.
Ah, gross.
Yeah. Anyway, so in this area here, it gets all snowy, and then the camera rotates, so you have to pay attention to what direction you're moving in. So you place those little beacons on the ground, little markers or whatever, to keep yourself oriented. Because there's actually one area of the Great Glacier that you can only get to by going this way through the snowfield. There's basically, every area that you go to, you can, just turn around and go back, and you'll end up in the place you were before. But this place you can only get to by going this way, and if you go back up the other way, it brings you to a different area. So the reason that we touched the hot spring is because there is a encounter that we get in a cave in this screen right over here. Not this encounter.
Hey, look, it's snow.
Hey, Snow. Alright, so, Snow can charm people, which is fantastic, you know. Always great to have your people be charmed and confused and shit. However, fortunately, so Cloud attacked Barret, and then she attacked Barret with ice, and since Barret currently has on some armor that absorbs ice attacks, it's just healing him.
Barret don't give a fuck.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe those things aren't called Snow. This one is.
Why are they so mad about? Oh,
I don't know, you touch the thing.
and it turns into snow.
Yeah. Like, see, I know that this one's called Snow, but I don't know if the other one is called Snow. Because this is technically an optional boss. But I don't know if they only share the model and not the name, you know? Or if this is just a boss version of the random encounter enemy. I'm gonna go with it probably they're all just called Snow, because why wouldn't they be? Yeah, okay, they're all called Snow.
Cool.
Anyway, so for doing that, we get the Alexander materia, which is a pretty neat summon. Everybody loves Alexander.
Are we gonna use it in the next fight?
Probably not.
Oh.
We'll use it eventually. Oh, one of these guys. Would you like to guess this thing's name?
Minotaur. Are they not Minotaurs?
No.
What the fuck are they then?
This is called a Magnade.
What?
Oh? Anyway, so there's a couple more things that we need to find. Oh, look, more ice golems. I really don't like these things because they have a really absurd amount of health.
They're fucking Gunpla.
Yeah, well...
Why do they have so much health for Gunpla? Just step on them.
Hey, it's not very nice. Don't be mean to the Gunpla.
Oh, just trying to kill me. I'm gonna fucking step on it.
But they're adorable. They're more like Transformers than Gunpla.
Okay.
They're basically Soundwave. So what we're going for now is that materia that we ran past before, which is right here. So this is the added cut materia, which is a really cool materia.
Ooh.
What it does is you link it to any other materia, and it will add a standard attack to whatever you use. So
Nice.
if you put it on like a spell, then it'll add an attack to it to the end. So I don't do it in this episode, but I start doing it, and I believe the next episode or the episode after, I don't remember. I combine added cut with the death blow materia. Now what death blow does is it shows up as a separate command from attack on the attack menu, and it's a 30% chance, or I guess like 33% chance of scoring a critical hit. So it's not great to use on its own because you only have a 33% chance of actually hitting the enemy, otherwise you just miss. So if you put added cut onto it, you use death blow, you have your 33% chance of hitting, and whether you hit or you miss, you still get an attack off as well. So you get 2 attacks, and that's really cool. And sometimes they both crit, and that's even cooler. So anyway, out in this snowfield here, there is an all materia inside this cave. You can never have too many all materias. And this is where I learned that you can just mash the circle button and drop those sticks like crazy. So that is what we do. So yeah, the next episode we'll actually tackle the cliff, which I believe is called Gaia's Cliff, or Gaia's Cliff, G-A-E-A, Gaia, Gaia, Gaia.
Yeah, I want to say Gaia.
Yeah, go with Gaia. You all right there, Snake? All right, go take a nap. Good night.
Good night.